The story begins in the year 2053 after the last war and the world finished the crime rate. He jumped to the sky and increased by more than a development in water, and this is, of course, making pressure on the prison system that has no place in it. Needle, and because this crisis resolves, the government has launched a new rehabilitation program. Its name is the Fund Program, which is a program if it was a work in time. It was considered an inhuman need at all. This program is fine. Prisoners are between two needs either. They volunteer themselves for execution or serve their entire sentence in the air of a locked box. Food and water deliver them, according to the mood of the righteous citizens who threw them, even if anyone. Just think of running away and being executed. In her watch, one of the boxes was flown by a French DVD-6 trying. She lives and her body is full of wounds. She is sentenced to 4 years, and she is still better than 2 years and a little. Her suit has no water point, and when you spit on it, the small hole in the box, instead of eating, you will find food. Razormus. After she hesitated a little, she decides in the end that she gives up and uses the moose to get rid of itself at an island. Rocky in Australia, and a few boxes of this throw nearby. From the chat, and on a day when there were 2 young families, they played and went to Rummy Aztec on one of the boxes, and this ball is right. The prisoner's face, Talatasher's number. She wakes up, her hands and legs are tied, so she starts. She pulls the rope with her teeth until she knows. She dismantles herself in the other. She is sentenced to 7 years and today. The first day she suddenly has a bulb on precaution. You enlighten and make the sound of a small opening that opens the prisoner. You don't want to spit outside. You see the children walking away, and exactly 1 second later the bulb. You make another voice and the hole closes when it is tricking. And you beg to explicitly release a screen on the box. It works and shows it a video that the system explains. How is it? The video ends with a sentence that says, "You are where you are." You chose it yourself, prisoner Talatasher, by revealing a state of nervous collapse, and she sits on the walls while cursing. And I swear that she's innocent. You kindly cry and scream to some extent. Fatigue overwhelms her, and then a little bit of the opening opens. Again, you don't want to put her suit in order to take food, but what? There is anything that happens, so I started searching in every inch of the box with the utmost accuracy in the hope that you will find a way to run away from it, but the problem is that it is all. You don't touch a particular place for a long time, you get electrified by a light shock. However, this did not stop. I preferred to spin and spin to some extent. Salvation. There is no other need to do, and with the passing of hours is not able to stand alone. With her thoughts, she kept scribbling in walls. The box with its nails is a kind of entertainment that I found in. Same time in another box and another prisoner, she gets up to 2 years, and it is still better than 5 hours a day. You hear a voice that asks her, "You are still living." One night I tried to play in the light board and the camera in. The box is her cat. Immediately an alarm bell strikes and a voice announces that the execution near before iron skewers in the ceiling. The prisoner begins to come down on her, screaming in terror and asking for help from the open hole. But all this is on the empty one by throwing itself on the ground and watching with horror at the skewers while they are only getting close to them. Suddenly the skewers are standing on top of it exactly. The screen and sound that make the descending number will start to sing. And I'm not smiling because I thought the topic is over. Unfortunately, the joke is finished and the skewers complete the descent and crush it to the point. Death and again. The day of the morning. Talatasher completes an inspection of every part of the box, but then I can't find anything useful, and when is the world? It started raining, putting her suit down at the open hole to collect water, and finally you can drink. After a while she wakes up from a nap to the voice of someone calling. You meet a little girl standing at the opening and ask her for a while. Her sentence, and when she knows that she is 7 years old, she concludes that Talatasher is for sure political prisoner girl. She completes her suit with clean water and puts it in a small bag in it. Eating pills, and Talatasher eats them in her hour, then the girl. You think that citizens are the ones who decide the future of all. A prisoner, and completely ignores her when she says she is innocent. As time passed, she felt her mind was running away. Some of them are not able to withstand this isolation more than. That's how she grabs the rope and starts to suffocate herself for how many seconds she can't breathe. But the first thing she was, "You will die." Her hands left the rope alone here, she will have a collapse. Again, when you realize that she is not even able to control her death yet. How many months do you still live? And locked in the box with a few seeds and a jarnan leaf. So you put them in the dish and hold the jarnan at the opening to take it. A little bit. Unfortunately, the articles in Al Jarnan reached them. They did not understand them. She is crying, and she feels that they will torture her a little later. Talatasher extends her hand from the hole and prefers to turn around it until. What do you find? The plastic ball finally has a need to occupy itself. The days please encroach on the same boring routine. You sleep and play with the ball, and when the control panel opens the hole, you spit on the landscape to take a little sun after a while. Wounds appear in her body and worsen day by day, and at the same time in another box in a man serving a sentence. 5 years, he spent 1,000 days of salvation, so now there is nothing but structure empty from his face, repeating one sentence: I am in the place I chose. Myself, on the afternoon, a drone plane will remove the box by Talatasher and throw it in a forest in it. Dozens of prisoners. The girl comes back again and asks her, what are you doing? Here, Talatasher responds to rehabilitation. The girl. She says that she reads Shakespeare, who has been banned for a while. You don't know this name, but you make it clear that she knows how to read. Good. But it is forbidden to read in the box after the girl. You say that there is no rehabilitation without books that hold hands. Talatasher, and you say at a sentence from Romeo and Juliet Talatasher that she likes. The sentence is strong and she hopes she will read this book one day. The days are the girl trying. You turn it down, but you don't want to refuse because you don't want the girl's problems. She wants to eat a little and promise her that she will visit her again because you read to her after the girl walks. She will kindly think about me. I touch her on her lips and she ends up being. She makes movements that are not good with her hands and the camera imagines everything. A year after the beginning of her imprisonment, she will be eating a few seeds from a bag, and you find a small book hiding in the middle of them. You sleep and start her back to the camera before she opens it, and you are surprised that it is the book of Romeo and Juliet. To read the poetry, she returns to her a little hope after this, the time she doesn't want to get her clean water, takes a shower and makes sure she cleans her wounds so that they don't get dirty. Touching the wounds was very painful. Just trample on itself and bear it, then throw the water that is not clean. Outside the camera, I caught all of this and classified it as a waste of water. The box is sold by Talatasher. They bring him back at the beach, and in the end, the girl imagines her again, and I am surprised what you don't want to do to transfer it. Instead of answering Talatasher, she asks her, you decide to eat who and how is the girl? She explains that she walks and talks to the largest number of prisoners. Today you can look like it in a coming storm, so you will have to walk early. Talatasher asked her about her age, and she knows that she will start a year, and this makes her confess. She thinks of her sister who died after that, weeks of abuse. And you don't know what's wrong with her and niece other than the book. The little one hides it in a crack in the box and looks carefully at it. Every time you read a sentence and always make sure that her back is to the camera. Hours remain desperate, to the extent that she relies on moonlight to read even though it is not strong like the sun, and one day the drones will move the box again, and you don't watch him as he flies over the ocean the first time he goes down. A person appears at the hole eating an apple to invade it. Just and she doesn't cry and beg for her hands one cat and beg for her to have mercy on her, but the man says it. He will not have mercy on any of the animals in these boxes. And if he had his hand, he would have executed all the prisoners. No chance of rehabilitation. And after a short choke, the man says that he is ready to make a deal. You will take the apple if it spills itself. You don't want to eat so much that it agrees. So her body gets closer to the hole when the man does this drone. He watches the place, stops them in the act, and opens. They have to fire. The man dies in her watch and her bullet enters the box and infect Talatasher's man despite the terrible pin. Talatasher extends her hand outside and takes the apple and begins to eat it. Quickly, unfortunately, you discover that the apple is full of worms and in the end it will return. And at night, Talatasher, you wake up to the sound of an alarm, a voice that says that trading is food, against the laws and therefore in it the punishment of Talatasher. You have to spend 7 days without sleep, and this is a warning. The only one you will take. If you break the rules again, you will be killed after that. A strong light works in the atmosphere of the box, and the alarm does not stop ringing for a while. 7 days of Talatasher, I can't. She sleeps trying to cover her eyes and wear her shirt, but what? There is no benefit to everything you do, that she screams in frustration. It is a sense that his mind is lost from it. The warning hours stop and you just try to sleep. The first time she closes her eyes, the alarm works again during this week of insomnia. You will have completed 2 years in the box. A little later, you notice that there are people living their lives. And she is happy outside the box. The voice suddenly announces that she has been trapped in injustice. To release. About her, what is the beautiful six that appears at the opening and you can enter the air? Talatasher feels that it looks ripped off, but I don't know how to sit on a sofa while playing with a cup of tea. And you explain to her that all of this is just preparations and that she will not go out or need. In fact, this beautiful six is the shape of Talatasher herself. Before what? She gets caught. 6. You explain it the type of films that the human brain can enter into. And you kindly laugh hysterically at the same time you don't want to scream in pain. And when the box finally voted, it announced that the punishment was over. You can't sleep and this hallucination goes away, but this is the topic. BSIP has a rigid psychological trauma after that. How many nights do you see fireworks in the sky? The voice of the box explains it that this is the new year, and a celebration of it. The citizens decided to offer an amnesty to all the prisoners and rate funds sentenced in political cases. This means that Tlatasher is not. You will graduate the night that Tlatasher will discover. Her teeth began to fall, and on the morning, she was an old woman who appeared outside the box of Tlatasher and flops on the precaution with a moose. Before she speaks, she explains that she spent 5 years in one box. Experience. This is the one who shaped her and made her the person she is now. You don't want the moose to Tlatasher before. What she says is that she hates the person she stayed on. This is Tlatasher. She prefers to shave a ring in the moose while it is on her skin, but she does not have it. The other girl who loves Shakespeare will come again and take it. How many seconds to accommodate? It's real after you fill the suit. Water is clean, the girl touches at Tlatasher and you say it a sentence from the book. This time you can complete the rest of the sentence with her and then... How many months is the belly of Tlatasher? She will be so old that she appears to be pregnant because of what happened with the man who bought the apple and the time after that. The girl comes to her and says to her that her family or group, we want to save her and let her complete her term under their care. The alarm turns on, the hole closes, and the girl runs away. You can't tuck. She does something, but she cries, burning at her missed opportunity. After how many weeks will it appear? A new man at the opening notices that Tlatasher is pregnant and that she is still 4 years old. The man asks her if she is. Know the meaning of mercy and Peshawar on a box. Tanny is fond of seeing that quick death is better. Something you can ask for, but she refuses to offer it after a while. You notice that there is water dripping from the ceiling, so she extends her hand and she unzips a sip nail that she uses to cool her nails before she comes. Throw it later. You sit scribbling in the pyramid that the screw did, hoping that it is expanded a little, and after how many months do you start to feel pain in the open? And get down on its passengers, and you would like to grieve with pain until the child is born. Baby and cut the rope. The secret with her teeth at the moment this alarm hits and the sound of the box. Sell that Tlatasher broke. Another rule when another person came in the box, and that's why execution must take place. Suddenly the box is full of gas and Tlatasher faints, and when Tlatasher excellently she discovers that her son was taken from her, screaming and begging her in a state of collapse. And I beg them to return her son after 4 years. From imprisonment, a strong storm and high sea waves, you kindly flop in. The box is because of the pyramid that you don't want to buy water, please. Go in the air and booze, the control panel, and when you don't share, she stretches her hand outside to see. If you can find a useful need, the system will be hinged because of the water, and it closes. The hole is on her shield while she is screaming from pain. She is kindly pulling, in her armor, but you don't know how to look at it, and on the contrary, you hurt him more after that. A little bit. System behang again, and the opening opens, and finally its shield is liberated. But it will be broken after a while. You don't see an insect, and it tramples on her with her bare feet. Then you hold it and eat it, and it will come back while she eats it. At the same time, the water still enters the air and gathers a little in the suit. It's just the box. He doesn't scratch time and starts to sink even, and the water is the money of the place. Around her, she is trying to read in her book in the other, attributed. The water is so high that it is not able. Stands as it is, the system discovers that an illegal interference. And he announces that this is the time of execution. You are trying to float so that you prefer the water drone to appear because he removes the box, but while he is flying the drone, he is hit by a lightning bolt and falls. On the ground, the box is located. Also a little while, and the mock takes it with him. And in the morning, there are 3 young people who will be, they play on the beach, they look at the box, and the wave cuts it on the beach, and you get out. Wow, Tlatasher herself, but they completely destroy her. And they go to their house. Friendly. The end of the movie, and we meet in a new summary. And thank you for watching.